This video is about Johannes Brahms' double concerto for violin and cello. I will explain the most important things about the work and the composer. Johannes Brahms was born in Hamburg in 1833. He was an important composer of the Romantic period and wrote symphonies, piano works, and chamber music. Brahms lived in Vienna for many years, where he worked as a conductor and pianist. His music combines classical forms with romantic melodies. Johannes Brahms died in Vienna in 1897. The double concerto for violin and cello was written in 1887, when Brahms was already a famous composer. It was his last orchestral work and was written as a gift of reconciliation to his friend, the violinist Joseph Joachim. Joachim and Brahms had fallen out due to personal differences. The concerto was premiered in Cologne in 1887. It is a unique work in the history of music. The double concerto for violin and cello consists of 3 movements. The first movement is a slow allegro that begins with a dramatic introduction. The second movement is an expressive andante that highlights the 2 solo instruments. The third movement is a lively vivace non troppo with a cheerful theme. Each movement shows the close collaboration between the violin and cello. The first movement of the double concerto begins with a powerful orchestral introduction. The cello and violin then enter in a dialogue. The theme is played by both instruments in various variations. The movement is technically demanding and contains virtuoso solo passages. The orchestra accompanies the soloists with powerful and solemn sounds. The second movement is a slow andante. It begins with a gentle melody in the strings, which is taken up by the violin and cello. The solo instruments often play together here, complementing each other harmoniously. This movement expresses a calm and peaceful mood. The interplay between the violin and cello creates a particularly close connection. The third movement of the double concerto is a lively vivace non troppo. It begins with a cheerful theme presented by the solo instruments. This is followed by various variations on this theme, which are played by the violin and cello in an artistic manner. The orchestra accompanies with rhythmic and dance-like sounds. The movement ends with a triumphant conclusion. In this concerto, the violin and cello play the main roles. Both instruments have many solo passages in which they can show off their technical prowess. At the same time, they often engage in a musical dialogue with each other. This dialogue creates a special connection between the instruments. The violin and cello complement each other and are at the forefront of the concerto. The double concerto for violin and cello is a unique work in the history of music. It combines elements of chamber music with those of a large orchestral work. Brahms shows his ability to develop complex musical ideas. The concerto is often performed today by famous violinists and cellists. It remains a milestone in Brahms's work. Johannes Brahms had a strong influence on 19th-century music. His symphonies and chamber music are considered masterpieces of the Romantic period. Brahms combined classical forms with new musical ideas. Many composers after him, such as Gustav Mahler and Arnold Schoenberg, admired his work. Brahms's music remains an important part of the classical repertoire.